quick tip is one that comes up again and again and again in my career coaching programs and trainings. It might sound like a no brainer, but it is relevant to almost everyone that I've come across, and it is this: do not make your past significant. When I say do not make your past significant, I don't mean that your past is not relevant. It is relevant. I don't mean that it doesn't have learnings. It has learnings. It has information. There is important and useful data. And milk your old experiences for all of that, for the data, for the connections, for the self information and knowledge that it gives you. But don't make it significant. What do I mean by don't make it significant? Don't be identified to it. Don't make it such a big thing in your life that you use it every time when you want to evaluate or gauge or try and decide if you should or should not be doing something. So apart from the information and the relevance and the data and the qualifications and the experience that your past has given to you, don't let it impact you in deeper ways, in terms of the sunk cost effect, or hey, this is what I was making in my old company or old job, and therefore that should be a benchmark for what I need to be making anymore. That's not necessary. So all these other unnecessary things, you want to cut yourself off from that. You want to untie yourself. So you cannot really create or design a new career for yourself if you're still wedded to your old career, if you understand what I mean. And this is so important. The other thing is that this is true with regard to the so-called good things as well as so-called bad things that happen to you or that you have associated with in your previous careers. The good thing, I gave you an example again. You cannot hold your previous salary or what you were getting as a benchmark and say, I need at least this much, or otherwise my self-esteem isn't worth it, or what I'm going to do is not worth enough. Because when you redesign your career, well, really, actually, it's always going to be a redesign of your life, which means there might be a whole bunch of other things which you were not getting in that previous career, which you might now sign up getting for. There might be different kinds of learning, different kinds of enjoyment, different kinds of travel, different kinds of experience, different kinds of family time, and a whole different portfolio of experiences. So if you're trading off something that wasn't working for you with a whole new portfolio of experiences and growth opportunities, mind you, and you try to insist that no, it has to have the same basic minimum that I was getting just in terms of that linear one dimension of money, it may not happen. But and if you keep insisting that it has to happen, you're actually sabotaging or reducing your degrees of freedom in your new design. Now, here's the good news that I'll tell you from having watched others redesign their careers as well as from my own experience, that you might start out, for example, at something that's not the same, but because you've set yourself up to succeed in so many other ways, and ways which include a happy life, a holistic life, doing things that you're really excited and passionate about, doing things where you grow easily, you have a lot of fun, chances are you might soon outpass those earlier numbers of what you were making in your firm. But you can't expect, and you wouldn't know that that is going to happen, and so you cannot make it a condition for launching on your new line of work. Your conditions or reasons for starting your new career and your new lines of work are going to be a wholly different set of conditions about things that you like, things that turn you on, things that make sense in the design that you're now creating. So you have to drop those individual things that you had. Of course, I'm not saying don't make financial criteria important. So for example, if you have a loan and you have a certain monthly expense and you say, I need this for my expenses or for my loan or for this reason, a reason which is valid today, that's good. But if you need it simply because of the reason, because in the past you were making something else and therefore you had pegged your self-esteem or your identification at that, and now you're saying I cannot go below that, then that is what I'm saying, don't make your past significant. Drop that. Drop those identifications, drop those labels. So for example, if you were used for a certain lifestyle or a certain level of, I don't know, business class travel, or different things, or a certain level of secretarial assistance, and now you're starting out on your own, you can't say, oh, I've always had this, I'll need this. No, you have your starting from now. So you're starting from the drawing board again. And this is a great time to rediscover what you actually need, what you don't, what works for you, what's fun, what's not. So you have to come to the process of redesign with that open mind. So to repeat once again, if you want to redesign your career, if you want to redesign your life, the best starting place for that is now. It's today. So you cannot hold your entire past history with you, all the stories, all the identifications, all the fears, all the narratives you've created about what was good for you, what was bad for you. You don't hold on to them very tightly. You can take individual lessons, experiences, and if they're working for you, carry them forward. In fact, what I do in my courses and coaching is, in fact, not even allow people to carry the stories. And when we say I've learned this lesson, often there's a story in that. So to just keep the experience and start from today. But during the design process, when you need information about your strengths, about what's worked, then you can go back and look at the raw data of your experiences. So even drop that excess of the narratives and the stories that you might have created, because usually those are just very contextual, and use today as the fresh starting place, as the first day of the rest of your life when you engage in the design process. Okay.